Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special episode 262 of the Hoots podcast. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother, Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez, here in week number 2 of my voyage down in Central Florida. Chilling here. I want to give a shout out to my hotel, the Doubletree Hotel, corresponding with the UCF College. Really cool place. I totally recommend for anybody who comes to the Central Florida area that doesn't want to be literally just stuck in the Orlando big city. Come check this out. It's on the outskirts of the city. You can still find your access to go to your big attraction like Disney and SeaWorld and stuff like that. I did not come down there to go to Disney and stuff like that. With the potential of possibly moving down here, I'll have enough time to go check out those establishments. But this here is a podcast of joy, podcast that I'm very, very proud of. We are 11,000 plays away from hitting 300,000 plays and downloads on Anchor. So I want to give a shout out to you guys for checking out the podcast each and every single week. It means a lot to myself and Brother Carter. I'm out in the East Coast. Brother Carter's right now in the Mountain Time.
Mountain Time, that's right.
Yep, in Colorado. And I'm here with Brother Carter, Mr. Derek Stoughton.
Thank you. I'm going to give myself a round of applause. So what's happening, Brother Adam? What's happening, everybody? I apologize for having to take a week off last week, taking care of things and doing some music stuff up here. But all is good. We are back in the saddle, baby. We are ready to go, back live. And I had to be around with Josh because, Josh, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but this week is a very special week, a very special time in the life of the Hoots podcast, and I cannot wait to get a little teaser for the fans. And I cannot wait to get to share this special moment a little bit later on in the show. A very special time in the life of the Hoots podcast. But glad to be with you, brother. Glad that you're having a great trip, and I'm just really excited to hear about all the great things you've been doing down there. That's really terrific.
Before we get to all the fun and shenanigans in the world of wrestling, we do have a couple things we need to plug. If you're watching the live video version on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Leave us a like button. Press the bell, the single bell on your screen so you never miss an episode and get notified when we upload new episodes of the Who's Podcast or anytime I drop some specialty podcasts or interviews on there, or maybe even some guitar covers. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to listen to the audio version and you don't have to see our bugs, all you have to do is subscribe to the Hoots Podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast from. Hope you guys can hear me good. I'm using a new computer today. Little note right there for you guys. By the way, shout out to a good brother of the Hoots Podcast, Brett. We haven't heard from him in a while.
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
What's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. So I'm loving this new computer, by the way. So I just hope you guys hear me good and we're all clear as far as that is. All right. So also I wanted to plug ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. You should go check that out. I have a 3-pack of New Japan shows I just did over the last 3 days from Cork and Hall. All caught up with the weekly TV shows. We got Hell in the Cell coming up on Sunday, which we'll be making predictions for at the end of the podcast today. And you know what? We got a lot to get to. And we got a special anniversary that we're celebrating towards the end of the podcast as well. So glad to look out for that. And,
I got it all queued up, Josh. Oh, man, we're going to take a great trip down memory lane. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so if you guys have anything you want to know about the Who's Podcast, all you have to do is set us up on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Brother Carter is at Derek Stoughton. You can also set this up on Instagram so you guys can see it right here on the YouTube video version. So,
also, hashtag Free the Hoots Podcast. We still got to get that going. I don't know what's happening with that website, man.
Man, it's been 5 months since I've been suspended on Twitter. I don't get it myself. I don't.
Are you able to do a follow-up with them? Like, hey, just curious to see what's going on?
I've sent multiple emails. They had this thing about seeking retractions or stuff, or trying to say that you have ownership of the copyright they're using. So basically, for those who don't know, my original Twitter account got suspended due to copyright strikes from me posting guitar covers on the Twitter site, which is very odd because people could post clips of movies and porno clips, but I can't post a minute guitar cover where you mostly hear my guitar and you hear some of the music in the background.
Right.
It's stupid. So they're like, you can seek a retraction from the person that filed the complaint, or you can bring the issue to court. And like, I didn't make a cent out of any of the guitar covers I posted on there or on Instagram. These are for people who want to listen to me play guitar or just wanted to check it out.
Right.
I'm very proud of being a musician, and I love playing music, and I like to share that with people. Not from a braggadocious standpoint, I just like playing music, so I wanted to share that with people. And they're like, no, you can't have fun. You can't have fun, pal.
No, apparently that's like what people think about WWE or AEW or whatever. It's no fun. I don't know.
Yeah, elitist attitude. Kind of ironic why they named that company that.
We're gonna get into all that.
Yeah. So free the Hoots podcast, and the DMCA can go kiss my ass. How about that?
Very good.
All right, so we're gonna start off this week's podcast as we usually do with the Good Brothers Q&A session. The Good Brothers Q&A and Wisdom session. This is the part of the show where we answer questions about sports, wrestling, mental health, and we'd like to have at least a couple live conversations, especially when Brooke Hart can join us on video. So that's good we have him here. So we're going to start off with the good brother, Chris Zaletta. Make sure to follow him at Twitter at XTeenZaletta24X on Twitter.
Good brother.
Starts off with a Ken Griffey Jr. baseball question. How about this one?
Okay.
How appreciated is Ken Griffey Jr.?
I mean, I grew up watching Ken. Yes, thank you, Brett. Indeed, free the Hoots. Indeed. I grew up watching Ken Griffey Jr., and I think that for me, I think he's gone down as one of the greatest of all time. So, I think he's appreciated for what he does. He's earned his place in baseball legacy and baseball Hall of Fame. So, I think I greatly appreciate him for his contributions to the game. And I think from what I can tell, he's got a pretty well wide-known following. So I think he's good in that regard.
I think he's very underrated for his overall standing from just a sports context, because here's a guy that did not have steroids. He did not have out of the field drama and issues like Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa or Terrell Owens or anybody you want to throw out to the
Tyreek Hill.
Kareem Hunt. We could go all day with this, but funny comment by Bray's like Dominic got deleted by Roman. Hey, is Dominic Landia? Is there APV out for him? I'm like, where is he at?
He's dead at this point, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I love Ken Griffey Jr. He's one of the best pure athletes of all time. I think he's very underrated for the publicity he gets. I mean, it's because for him, he didn't want the attention always to be on him. So I always appreciate what Ken Griffey brought to the table as a baseball player and as a person. So it's kind of sucks for him. He's also one of those players that never won a World Series too, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
Remember the one year where Ken Griffey Jr. was on the White Sox, which is my favorite baseball team, and they made the playoffs that year, and he made like an awesome catch. This is like towards the end of his career, and it was pretty cool to see him wear the strike.
Now, if you end up moving down to Florida, Josh, are you going to have to switch teams, or are you going to always be – is Chicago always going to be in your heart?
No, it's going to be Chicago for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. You're not one of them bandwagon fans that abandons the team when they move to a different place.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen.
I like that.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the next question, shall we?
We shall.
This is a good question. Will Everrise rise up in the XC tag division? I'll take this one because I really enjoyed this group. Matt Martell and Chase Parker, very good young tag team, very entertaining. They had this like a little comedy show they do on Saturday, kind ripoff of a morning show. It's called Ever Rise Live, which they post on the NXT Twitter page. And it's 10 minutes of them just being goofballs and stuff like that. They're very entertaining to watch. I like what they do in the ring, but they mostly wrestled on 205 Live, so I wish they would have more opportunities in the ring. I know they did announce that Ever Rise would be fighting Hit Row on NXT this coming week, so that should be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next question, let's see. Best spot for Murphy promotion-wise, not including AEW.
I don't. Maybe ROH. I think he could do some good work in ROH. I don't know if Impact is kind of fits his style, though. I mean, Impact's going to be in the toilet in 2 years because of Don Callis and AEW's influence. But so the first company that comes to mind for me is ROH.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in ROH. Also, I would throw out New Japan. They're trying to expand more in the U.S., so I think him being part of like New Japan Straw was more of their U.S. show than the international one. Or MLW be a good fit for Buddy Murphy. So he's a very good hybrid wrestler. I always enjoy his stuff in the ring. We'll see what he does character-wise now he's out of the company. But Buddy Murphy's really good at what he does. So for me personally, I like to see him in New Japan.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Next question. Who would you like to see Camille defend her title against? Brecker, I don't know if you know who Camille is.
No, you got this one.
She's the current NWA Women's World Champion.
Oh.
Camille recently defeated Serena Deeb at Shadows Fall to catch her the championship. So she's really good. If you guys haven't seen her perform, she's really, really good at what she does. So, yeah. It's a great question. For me, I don't want to see her with AEW. I'm like, for me, I'm just out the whole concept of, AEW and Impact partnership. It's the greatest thing ever. It really is. I mean,
it's been horrible.
If you look at what happened with Moose and Olivier from Against All Odds this past Saturday that I covered, and how that show ended, and Don Callis firing Sami Callihan. It's so forced. It's so cringy. It's like I don't even know what to say, man. So
I am so over Don Callis. Like it's that angle, that shtick has run its course on AEW. We'll get into that, but I cannot stand Don Callis anymore. Like he needs to go home and stay home. Okay, sorry.
Well, I guess I'm realizing now why ECW fans didn't care for him either when he was the Cyrus character.
Or when he was the Jackal in WWF.
Oh, God, it's brutal.
Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, well, and it's weird. I didn't see that Serena Deeb – they didn't mention that Serena Deeb had lost her NWA Women's Championship on Dynamite, at least not that I saw. So I didn't even realize she had lost the title. So
about that, I was charging my phone.
Yeah, no problem. I was just gonna say I didn't notice that Serena Deeb. They didn't mention that Serena Deeb had lost her championship. So interesting.
Yeah, this happened about like a week or so.
That's probably yeah. Because I wonder if she'd make an appearance. I don't know. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing her go against somebody like. And again, I don't know her that well, but could she pair with somebody like a Ty Conti, or like if she had to wrestle somebody in AEW, like somebody like Ty Conti or Riho or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that would be fine. Even if like Camille went to like Impact or something, it'd be pretty cool to see her against the women on their roster. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Next question. Thoughts on Samoa Joe's return to NXT? Go ahead, Brother Carter.
I love it. It's interesting to me. One, I mean, obviously, I'm glad to see Samoa Joe back. I think he's one of the foremost talents in the world, and he's one of the absolute best at what he does. So I think that's absolutely terrific. I do think it's very interesting now. Really, for me, is that does this really set up NXT as essentially a different company than WWE? Because WWE let him go. Triple H got him right back into NXT. So, are they two separate entities, or did they fire Samoa Joe and Triple H didn't know about it, and then all of a sudden Triple H is going to Vince like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we'll take him in NXT. Like, please send him down our way, and they were able to rehire him in that regard. But so I don't know what that means as far as the power structure within the company. But I love it. I love Samoa Joe. I think he's in a perfect role, especially if he can't wrestle. Like if he's not medically cleared and stuff like that, this is a perfect role for him because he's great on the mic. He can be slightly intimidating when he needs to. Like you saw this week, he choked out Adam Cole. So I'm so glad to see him back, and I think he's in a perfect role. But I am curious to see what this means for the power structure within WWE.
Boy, a lot of people were in their feelings about Samoa Joe going back to NXT. Honestly, I'm just happy for him to be part of wrestling. I liked his stuff on commentary on Raw. Now, do I think Samoa Joe is the guy that's going to be a big draw as world champion and stuff like that? No, not from my point of view. I enjoy his work in the ring, but I think this is a good role for him. And NXT is a good brand for him to be on. So you can see by the reaction to the crowd when he came out. So the atmosphere is really cool. And he chuckled Adam Cole during the show and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm happy for him. I just find it funny to be like, oh, my gosh, Samoa Joe's a bad businessman. Why would he go back to WWE? Like,
because they're probably paying him really well. And he's actually going to be used in a proper way, unlike what somebody referred to as everybody's favorite billionaire who just hands out checks to everybody to just sit there and let his career get thrown away in the toilet. He's actually going to be used in a proper way and can learn about the backstage news, about how to run television, about how to be a part of a true wrestling promotion and how to produce a real effective television show. So I think this is a perfect thing for him, and they're probably paying him really well.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say before the next question? Do you think we'll see Joe back in the ring in the future? Yeah, maybe sporadically for takeovers, but I don't think something's going to be like every week.
Right.
That would be my answer to the question. How about you?
It'll be like a Triple H role where he wrestles every now and then, for a show. If they need him for a special angle, like if Karrion Kross continues to run through everybody on the roster. Though that'll be tough because Karrion Kross, Joe would have to win that match, and you can't put the NXT Championship on Samoa Joe. But I could see him just kind of in one-off matches if they need him, or a tag match perhaps, like if they need to do a special enforcer kind of role, so he doesn't have to work as much in the ring. But so I could see him just in very limited capacity, like a Triple H or like a Sting or something like that.
See, let's go to the next one. Which team should take the tag titles off the Young Bucks? Prouder, Powerful, or Lucha Bros? How about this? Any tag team. How about that?
But it's not going to happen, Josh, because they're not. Because again, it's all friends wrestling over there. So and they only care about the elite and anything else. So nobody's going to take the tag titles off the Young Bucks. I mean, please, no, it's ridiculous. I can't think of who. I don't know, Moxley and Kingston maybe, but even though Moxley might be out now because he's he just became a father. Congratulations to John Moxley and Renee Paquette, by the way, on them welcoming their first child into the world. That's really terrific. That's wonderful. But I don't know. Who's going to do it? The only team I can think of is maybe Moxley and Kingston, but other than that, there's nobody really viable challengers, I guess. And I use the term viable very loosely when dealing with AEW. What about you?
I'll just go with FTR because they should have never lost the tag titles in the first place, but that's just my opinion.
But they can, Josh, because they're too busy working with Santana and Ortiz in the never-ending feud.
Yeah, more comedy and less sports-based wrestling. All right, next question. How much traveling will you do for wrestling shows this year? I think I'm done as far as like traveling wise. I'm not going to SummerSlam. I am going to Raw Chicago in August 2nd, so I will be at that show. But as far as traveling, I'm gonna save up so I could go to WrestleMania at Jerry World next year. That'll be my next wrestling trip. What about you, Doug? Are you interested in going anywhere soon?
Yeah, probably not. Just because money's a little tight right now, so I'm probably not going to be able to do a whole lot of traveling for wrestling shows. I may try to catch a show in Denver while I'm here in Colorado, but other than that, just going to be hanging out here and just enjoying the shows on television and all that kind of good stuff. Might try to get down to Jerry World for WrestleMania. That'd be very cool, especially if they're going to pack it up with 100,000 fans. That'd be a pretty cool atmosphere. But other than that, yeah, I'm just going to be staying local and checking out the shows on television and reading the outstanding transcripts that can be found on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, and everybody should bookmark that site. And it's all going to be good. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to be staying here, staying local, and just enjoying everything via satellite through the comfort of a television screen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to questions from Nate, our last batch of questions here on the Hoots podcast.
Thank you, Chris, for the questions. Great questions this week, as always.
Yes, make sure to follow him on Twitter too. He's a really good dude to talk shop with. All right, make sure to follow our next set of questions from Nate. Follow me on Twitter at Psycho Nagiri. He says, "Do you think there was any coincidence that both the TNT and North American title went from a small guy to a big guy within a week or so of each other?" Not necessarily. I mean, I can see that with the whole NXT and AEW on the same night and that fake Wednesday night war. But no, I Bronson Reed was already building himself in momentum on NXT before he was getting the championship. If anything, I think Miro getting the title is still kind of odd and kind of like they're probably saving face with him because he was like so irrelevant with the video game character and stuff like that. Now I'm supposed to take him seriously. Why did you do this when you fucking signed him? How about that?
Because
so I don't think it's a coincidence.
Because Miro wanted to do his own thing because everybody has creative control there. Like, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, can I be a video game character because I like video games? Sure, why not? That's great. Fantastic. God, Miro is awful. Like, he sucks. I know I say this often on the show, but I see why WWE got rid of him. Like, he is just awful. But I mean, I honestly, I think it was just coincidence. I don't think there was any really like planned, elaborate kind of booking to one up each other or whatever in this fake Wednesday night war. But yeah, so I think it was just coincidence that that's just how they happened to do it that way. So not really tied together or anything like that. But I am excited about Bronson Reed as North American champion. I think he's doing a good job. And I like Bronson Reed. I think he has potential for sure.
Next question for Nate. He says, what do you think? We already touched on NXT. How about this one? What would you do with Legado next? This is our last question for the pod this week. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. We had a question about this, about Selena Del Retta. I think her pairing with that group with Santos and Joaquin Wilde and Mendoza, I think that'd be a really good pairing. I know you're not familiar with her work, but if you have time, Burkhardt, go check out like her promos and stuff on YouTube.
I'll do that.
She's very, very good.
I do like Legado del Fantasma, though. I think that's a good group, and I think that they're all very talented. I really enjoyed this, and I know we'll get into this, but I really enjoyed the six-man tag match at NXT Takeover in Your House. I thought that was really, really well done, and yeah, I really like Legado del Fantasma. I think they're a great group and work very well together and have good chemistry. So, but yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I would like to see that very much. If you say that she's as good as if she's as good as you say she is, I'd love to see that. I think that'd be great.
And so we got the questions for Nate and Chris. So thank you guys for sending questions. Last thing I wanted to mention here, a little bit part of wisdom for this week. My wisdom this week is to, again, remember, dictate the pace of your life and nobody else. Make decisions on your own accord and not expect anything in return. So that'd be my part of wisdom this week for the podcast.
I love it. As Director of Operations, I approve of all things wisdom on this show. So thank you, Brother Adam, for that. Great questions this week, everybody. And again, don't forget to send us your questions. I know I'm stealing Josh's thunder here, but don't forget to send us your questions. You can hit up Josh. You can hit up me. All of us. We'd love to answer your questions on anything that you'd like.
Let's see. Let's go to the next part of the show here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got This Week in WWE. I'm going to let Brother Carter go over a little bit over what happened on Raw and SmackDown this week, and then I'll add my thoughts as we go on with this, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. So I really, just a couple major things I want to talk about from Raw and SmackDown this week. And I'm only going to touch on a few things with this because I want to. We're going to save a lot of this for when we get to our predictions. No, usually we say yes at this point, but because of the awful Big Money Matt character, we have to say no because of what's going on over there. But so I'm just going to touch on a couple things here with Raw and SmackDown this week, and then I'm actually going to talk a little bit about NXT Takeover as well and how much I really enjoyed that show. But getting into Raw and SmackDown. The biggest takeaway that I wanted to take from SmackDown this week is anybody that says that Roman Reigns is not the best professional wrestler, character, everything in the world is absolutely insane. Roman Reigns, what he is doing right now is the most compelling storyline in all of wrestling. His character is fantastic. Jimmy Uso has been really stepping it up since his return. I love what Jimmy Uso is doing. That's been great. So just this whole storyline, and Jay is playing his role carefully. Like it's clear that there's the power struggle between Roman and Jimmy, and Jay is kind of in the middle of it because he's been with Roman. He's been brainwashed by Roman, but he's got a loyalty to his brother. Heyman is a genius in putting it all together. I mean, it's an incredible storyline. So I thought that was really great. I think Rey Mysterio is the perfect opponent for Roman Reigns at the upcoming Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Because of the whole family angle. The pay-per-view happens to be on Father's Day, so it's a really good angle. I mean, Roman Reigns just needs to do something. Basically, just WWE just needs to get through this first month in order to in this last month until fans start to return about a month from now. So they really just need to get through Hell in a Cell and then just kind of transition into Money in the Bank. So I think that Rey Mysterio is the perfect opponent for Roman Reigns. They're going to have a great Hell in a Cell match. So I think all that is going well. And those are the biggest things. I mean, all the other feuds just kind of advanced on SmackDown. Seeing Bayley on all those screens was kind of creepy with Bianca Belair, so that was great. Just continuing to build up that angle, so I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that. Well, curious to see what happens with the Intercontinental Championship. It seems like it's just kind of very convoluted with everybody kind of figuring out what they're going to do to take on Apollo Crews. So those are just the biggest things I took away from SmackDown this week. Going into Raw, okay. So here's what I took away from Raw, and I'm going to give an A+ standing ovation to everybody involved for Eva Marie. That was freaking brilliant. I loved it. They were building her up as this, and we knew she wasn't going to be like this, super. I know, Josh, you were hoping for the voiceover, the return of the voiceover, but so Eva Marie comes out. Piper Niven comes up, takes the match for some reason, squashes it, and then they give a credit for Eva Marie for the win when Piper Niven does all the work. So trolling the fans, absolutely brilliant. Like, I was sitting there, as soon as Piper Niven got in the ring, like, I started laughing my ass off, and I was cheering. I was like, yes, Eva Marie, you troll everyone. Screw the internet wrestling fans. Screw the IWC, and all. I was just so waiting to see Twitter blow up. Like, oh my God, Eva Marie. Oh, now all of a sudden Lana's glad she got released from the company. Blah 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 blah. Like, give me a break. It was so funny watching the Eva Marie do her thing, and great to see Piper Niven on Raw. I remember seeing her in the Mae Young Classic. Josh, I know you covered her more with NXT UK, so I know you've gotten to see more of her work. And I know you know how terrific she is. But I'm really happy to see her on Raw. I love the Eva Marie stuff. That was great. And I don't know if you want to get into this, Josh, but apparently the internet wrestling community, shocking, was making fun of Piper Niven because of her look and because of her appearance and her, they were body shaming her and stuff like that. And I was like, give me a freaking break, IWC. Like, you all can kiss my ass for that one. But I think that was awful. That they were doing that. And that's the biggest thing. Everything else kind of just slowly started to move along. Nice to see Alexa Bliss back in the ring again. It's been a long time since we've seen her in a match. I wasn't quite sure how I didn't quite agree with the closing of that match, that Reginald needed to, interfere. I mean, I get why they did it, but Reginald needed to help, Nia Jax beat somebody half of her size, which I thought was kind of odd. But let's see, what else? Let's see. Great tag match with RK Bro and New Day. That was awesome. I thought that was great. I enjoyed seeing the Viking Raiders getting an opportunity to be in the main event segment. That was really cool. So really good stuff there. Really enjoyed that. So some okay stuff from Raw and SmackDown this week. It was pretty much just building towards the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, which we'll get into. Josh, you want me to talk about Takeover, or do you want to talk about that separately? Do you want to do Raw and SmackDown first, and then we'll get into Takeover? What do you want to do?
I'll mention some of the stuff I liked from TV this week, and then we'll get to Takeover.
You got it.
The stuff with Roman powerbombing Dominic. That was great. Really enjoyed the segment with Bayley and Seth Rollins.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I thought that was really good. What else? Also enjoyed. Let's see. Off the top of my head, I really enjoyed the match with Randy Orton and Riddle against New Day. I thought that was a good match on Raw. They had the thing going on with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, the 6-man tag with AJ, almost Viking Raiders. I thought that was fine. Introducing two feuds with each other, that was okay. So I thought Raw was a pretty good show this week from top to bottom. But also the brawl with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, I thought was really good as well. So,
Charlotte's outfit, my God, when she wore that fiery striped suit when she came out for the brawl with Rhea Ripley, like, goodness, woo, that was great. Did you like the Eva Marie stuff, Josh? Did you like the return of the Evolution? Oh,
that was beautiful. It's just great. Anything to piss off wrestling Twitter. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. You should have saw the people like, are you kidding me? All these vignettes and promos and she's not going to wrestle? What?
Oh, no, it was great. And Josh, what did you think of Piper Niven? Were you glad to see her back or glad to see her on Raw?
Yeah, she's very good in the ring. She was kind of like an underdog type of character in NXT. She has a very good story to herself, and she's really good in the ring. So if there's something where she's trying to seek the approval of Eva Marie, I think that's pretty cool. So I'm all for it. I really dug it so far.
That's great. Very good. Do you want to get into Takeover?
Yeah, let's get into Takeover.
Okay, let me give my thoughts here on Takeover. I don't get to watch NXT that often. And so I always try to check out the Takeover shows when I can, because I always tend to really, really enjoy Takeover. I thought there was good matches throughout the night by and large. Nothing revolutionary, but nothing like, oh my God, that was a terrible match. I thought there's really good matches throughout the night. Again, nothing that is gonna like, oh my God, greatest match of all time. But it was a really solid show, top to bottom. Except for the 5-way match. The 5-way match was awesome. Like the chaos in that was incredible. Raquel Gonzalez is a future Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. She is fantastic. I love me some Raquel Gonzalez. I think she's going to eventually move over to Raw or SmackDown. I want to see her against Charlotte Flair. Just two taller, athletic women going at it one-on-one, I think is going to be terrific. So I would love to see Raquel Gonzalez take her shot against the Queen. I think that's going to be great. But she's a future Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. No question. She's great. Very cool to see Todd Pettengill, but I wanted him to win the 24/7 championship. I thought that would have been somehow hilarious if, Akira Tozawa was running around and Todd Pettengill accidentally won the 24/7 championship. That's great. I will never get tired of Karrion Kross's entrance. Like, the atmosphere combined with Scarlett and that theme song is absolutely perfect. Like, Karrion Kross is a superstar. And Scarlett, my God. Like, Wow. And Josh, I know you and I we were texting about during the show, and I know you've been like, wow, Scarlett is like, I think she's overtaken Alexa Bliss as the WWE superstar I'd sell my soul to, because my God, she's taken over Alexa over that top spot. The 5-way match was awesome. The only question now is to quote Bill Goldberg, who's next? I mean, he's now defeated, all of the top people in NXT. So who's next? Does Finn Balor come back now that Sami Callihan has been fired? Maybe he's making his way over to NXT. Is he the next challenger? Is it going to be Joe? So that's my only question next, is who's Karrion Kross going to go after next? I maybe Finn Balor again. I don't know. Or maybe the other folks will get their one-on-one shot. I don't know. But overall, Josh, I enjoyed Takeover. What did you think?
I enjoyed Takeover too. I also enjoyed the Cameron Grimes LA Knight match, of the ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. I really love the story they told in the ring. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to this everybody, the staging area, the whole set I thought looked pretty cool. Also, shout out to Todd Pettingill being the host of the event. Also, get to see the press conference that they did with the press conference they did on a Saturday before Takeover, where they have everybody on a single table and they're taking questions from the press and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. I just like the presentation of how NXT goes about presenting the product and stuff like that. And I wanted to say that there was a lot of good matches. I mean, the MSK match with Bronson Reed against Legado del Fantasma was really, really good. I really enjoyed that match. Really physical. The part at the end where Escobar is like screaming into the camera, and then Bronson Reed like boom, like pushing through the fucking barricade. I thought that was really interesting. And then I was looking at this match with Mercedes Martinez and Xia Li, and a physical match just brought out more of a character development part of view of the show. So Xia Li did defeat Mercedes Martinez, and then I mentioned the LA Knight Cameron Grimes match. I thought that was cool. What else happened on this show? Raquel Gonzalez against Ember Moon. Good match. I wasn't really looking forward to it because I'm kind of over Ember Moon as a performer. She really does have any appeal to me, so it was what it was. I was watching the match for what it was, and then the main event was just off the charts. Shout out to all 5 guys. I have no idea who's fighting who next or anything like that. If anything, it's Killer Kross versus everybody. You could do triple threats. You could do 4 ways. You could do 5 ways. That's the character that he is right now. I don't know if you have one person on the NXT roster to be like, okay, this is the guy that has to go after Karrion Kross, unless Keith Lee goes back to NXT and they redo the rivalry. I don't know. I could throw that out there, but I just think overall I really enjoyed the show from top to bottom. My favorite match was Bronson Reed and MSK against Legado del Fantasma. I thought that match was awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, all great stuff overall. Again, I guess that's the great thing about NXT, Josh, is we don't know who's going to be next. We can't predict the next storyline.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Well, I wanted to mention one more thing before we go. It's our next part of the show. There was something I saw on Twitter and stuff around the area about a possible return of a King of the Ring tournament. I don't know if they're going to do it on TV or as a special off on the network. I think that'd be a better option to do it at the Performance Center than having it on TV. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, we got this thing going on with Nakamura and Corbin. They're still arguing with each other.
I don't know, Josh. I'm just kind of ready. I mean, I love Nakamura. I love Baron Corbin. But that feud's starting to get a little bit stale to me anyways. I think it's time for them to move on to, especially when they're having squash matches, you know, like if they want to have a long 20-minute match, great, because I think they'd be able to have a great match. But I think the feud's getting a little stale and it's time to move on. So, I mean, and if you do have another King of the Ring tournament, unless Corbin wins, then unless King Corbin's ready to move on from the King Corbin gimmick, which is, I'd be okay with that too. Because that gimmick ends if Corbin doesn't win another King of the Ring tournament, right? So you just have to keep that in mind. So unless they're ready to kill then the other way that would work then is if a face wins the King of the Ring tournament, then you can have the two kings going at it. But the King of the Ring really only works for heel characters, right? Because that's like that you can easily, you know, a face winning a King of the Ring tournament is just doesn't mean a whole lot. But a heel can run with that. But I don't know. I guess it could be cool. I think you've got to do it on make a special Raw or a special SmackDown about it, or a special show, like a super show where stars from both brands can compete. Actually, I think if you're going to do a King of the Ring, I think you should have all three brands compete, because why couldn't somebody from NXT win the King of the Ring? I think that could be cool too.
You know, the stuff with the Street Profits and Otis and Gable, I forgot to mention this for SmackDown. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know if this is a legitimate and serious injury, but my thoughts go out to Montez Ford. So hopefully,
right.
I know Otis is fighting Angelo Dawkins on SmackDown tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
So, Josh, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very special anniversary here in the Life of the Hoots podcast. And I want to play a clip from you from 1 year ago this week, as we launched I'll just play the clip. This is from 1 year ago this week.
Let's do it.
It is now time for us to debut a new segment here. And because this segment is going to be a recurring segment, I'd like to play you the new theme song. So now, here we go. It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? Oh my God! I'm crying laughing right now.
Brother Carter, you've come up with some really good ideas over here, so I think this year
This might be at the top of the list. I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I need to find a theme song. I found this just comedic, this little clown song. Oh, it's great. But Josh, what?
1 year ago, Josh, we debuted the best segment in all of wrestling podcasting. Here we go.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Without a doubt, brought to you this week by Brian Seltzer and Brianna Alvarez. Good Lord. Josh, can you believe it's been, and I hope we caught all that. I know my computer is sometimes not running at its all-time finest, but I can, if you want, I can send you the clips and you can edit and post. But can you believe, Josh, we've been doing What the Hell is Wrong with AEW for a year?
It's crazy how fast this year went by, you know?
I know.
You know, I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of cool, fun segments over the years on the different shows I've been on. I had the Skip Bayless Bash Hour, where we would just run over quotes on him in my old Sports Drive show that I used to do back in the day. This one is no exception. This is probably the best segment that I've ever been part of. And I appreciate those who get the gist of the segment and the concept behind it. And it's like, oh, these guys just hate AEW, blah, 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 blah. That's not the gist of the segment. It's more rooted in comedy more than anything. We're not personally offended by what they do on AEW. We have lives. We have other things to focus on. So, yeah, so what the hell is wrong with AEW? What isn't wrong?
At this point, Josh, what isn't wrong with AEW? Okay, so I finally got caught up on AEW last night, and I may be a little bit more, but like when I watched this program, my blood boils when I watch it because of just how anybody could take this seriously as a legitimate wrestling company / threat to WWE or whatever. How anybody can compare this as a legitimate top-tier professional wrestling company is beyond me. I will never understand it. So, Josh, let's get into it. What the hell is wrong with AEW? I hate the Big Money Matt character. I think this is, in his incredibly illustrious career, this is by far his worst gimmick. I hate Big Money Matt. I think that it's going nowhere. He just sounds like a douche in the worst way possible, not in a good way. Like, some characters end up being complete jackasses, but it's like a good jackass. This is a bad jackass. You hardly see him wrestle. Like, I can't stand the Big Money Matt character. I think it's the worst gimmick he's ever had in his career. To get started with that. What do you think about that? Mm-hmm. I just can't stand that.
Matt Hardy's useless on the show.
Yes.
I don't care for his group. I talked about it last week on what the hell is wrong with AEW. That Pride Party sucks. I don't enjoy the group whatsoever. The Bunny's the Bunny. Good waterfall's good waterfall, I guess. But
yes. I will.
I mean, the match with Christian and Helico was fine, but what purpose does this serve? It's just an old match on TV.
Which I actually, Josh, and we can disagree on this a little bit, because I actually really like the match with Christian Cage and Angelico. I'm glad that, to be objectively fair, we're going to give props to AEW when they do something well. And I think this was just a good showcase match between two talents. And I thought this was Angelico's best performance in AEW. I think that he worked well with Christian Cage. I actually really enjoyed this match. So good efforts by both. They just need to get away from Big Money Matt because it's going to kill their career. And then, okay, why is this QT Marshall and Cody feud still going on? Like, I'm not invested in this at all. And they're taking cheap shots against each other for no reason. QT Marshall is trying to be like this badass, heel, and he sounds like a little whiny baby on the microphone. I don't care about the thing with his feud with Cody. Cool to see Arn Anderson's son getting an opportunity to wrestle next week. That's going to be fine. For some reason, we're now getting a strap match in a couple weeks on their return tour. I can't remember. It's not Fyter Fest, but it's the show before that, the July 7th show. For some reason, we're now getting a strap match between Cody and QT Marshall for some stupid reason. So I don't get it. I'm sick and tired of this feud with QT Marshall and Cody. AEW runs their feuds for way too long. They're useless feuds for way too long. So those are just my thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm. I gotta mention this. We're gonna introduce some stuff in between, but I found it funny they had this announcement about, AEW's going to New York. They're going to a tennis stadium. Like, big deal. And then Tony Khan put out in his press release, whatever the article did for the press rep, he was like, I've been in the IWC for a long time. Well, I'm glad the owner of AEW has admitted that he's part of the echo chamber.
It's further proof that he doesn't care about putting on a good product. He cares about pandering to the small minority of wrestling fans that make their feelings known on Twitter. And we're going to get into this a little bit further with when we talk about that moron Dave Meltzer's comments about Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns. We're going to get into that. That directly ties in with the IWC, which we're going to get into in a bit. But again, you've got this billionaire that's pandering to a very small number group of fans to make himself feel good. And he's been brainwashed by, these morons, his executive vice presidents, the three most overrated talents in the history of professional wrestling, of course, being the Bucks and Kenny and Olivier. But I don't get it. I don't get it, Josh. But, okay. Then we get to the next match, which is the Young Bucks match. The Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler against Pac El Zero Miedo, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Eddie Kingston. Josh, I'm just going to say this. I hate the Young Bucks so much. They are, without a doubt, one of the worst tag teams mainstream tag teams ever. They are two of the most overrated talents in the history of professional wrestling. They're awful. And Don Callis needs to go GTFH. He needs to go home and stay home. I am so over Don Callis. I think he adds nothing to the program. He's essentially trying to, AEW is pretty much going to kill Impact Wrestling at this point, because when has there been mention on AEW television of Kenny Omega as the Impact World Champion? Like, I thought that the partnership was supposed to elevate Impact and give them some more mainstream time. And I know you're going to talk about the match with Moose in a little bit, but it's awful. Brandon Cutler is an idiot and is a waste of talent, just like Michael Nakazawa. The match started off okay and then became a spot fest. And then there, of course, in AEW fashion, there was a stupid post-match brawl. And at this point, Josh, the Good Brothers are becoming a waste of space. And I know we hate saying that because, we refer to a lot of our good people here as Good Brothers. But the Good Brothers, they're a waste of talent at this point. They're just a waste of space, and they need to get off my TV screen. I hated this. I hated everything about this. I hate the Young Bucks, and I'm just over them. I'm over all of the members of the Elite at this point. There's nothing elite about the Elite at this point. Rant over.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what else happened on this show. We had Miro.
Oh, I've got it all written down, Josh. We can get into this. I've got it all written down because. Then the next thing was the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle in their little. Okay, I will say this. I think FTR actually cut a good promo. I actually didn't mind their promo. MJF was okay this week. Why are they giving Wardlow a mic? It's the same thing with Jake Hager. Like, Wardlow and Jake Hager should not be allowed on the microphone at all. So they all cut these promos. Fine, whatever. And then, in the most uninspiring retort of all time, the Inner Circle proceeds to destroy the Pinnacle's limo. And they do it in a very slow fashion, with baseball bats and sledgehammers. It takes them a long time. And if you remember this, Josh, Pinnacle didn't even look that concerned. Like, they were just kind of standing there like, oh, yeah, oh, what are you doing? Oh, God, they're destroying our limo. Oh, my God. Like, they didn't even care that their limousine was being destroyed. And then Jake Hager takes a forklift, tries to lift it up, and tries to, destroy. He can't even turn it over properly. Like, I would think they were trying to turn it over. I hated everything about this. Everything Chris Jericho does, he brings everybody around him down. Everything Chris Jericho touches turns to complete dog shit. I'm over the Inner Circle. I'm over MJF is getting worse working with Jericho. And it's unfortunate, too, because MJF is probably their best male talent. He's actually now not my favorite overall talent in the company. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But what were your thoughts on this, Josh? I hated this. And I hate that the Inner Circle and Pinnacle are still feuding. I hate it.
It's just really unfortunate. You see this new heel faction come out, and you hear the talk, but you don't believe anything that they say.
No.
Because, yeah, they beat Inner Circle in Blood and Guts, but did that match do anything for anybody? Did the Stadium Stampede match do anything for anybody? No. And here we are. It's like I'm hearing FTR, and I like their work in the ring, but nothing they say means shit. It doesn't. I'm supposed to believe Sean Spears is supposed to be a dangerous guy where he's made to be the goofball in Football Fuckery Part 2. Like, it's just stupid. And then how many more things from the Attitude Era in WCW can we recreate with the Dinner Circle, the backstage area? Sorry, Sammy Guevara will never be a babyface in my eyes. And also, I could give two shits about a Jake Hager Wardlow MMA cage fight.
Like,
I like Wardlow. I think he has great potential. Jake Hager sucks. I don't want to see him on my TV. I don't care what he does. I don't care that he's a real MMA fighter. He's not entertaining. He fucking sucks. I hate to be more blunt and direct than that, but he fucking sucks.
He's terrible. But again, because he was an ex-WWE guy, Tony Khan's got to pay him a ton of money to come in because, we were able to get Jack Swagger here. Look what we're done. We're properly using our talent. Give me a fucking break. It's ridiculous.
Let me go on this part here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had Miro against Evo Uno. This one was a doozy. I gotta give a shout out to Jim Cornette for saying this because like it's an embarrassing look for Miro when he's having long competitive matches with guys like Evo Uno. I'm just throwing it out there. We had a conversation about this last night, Brother Carter, and we're going about it and talk about Miro fights Stunted Girl, Jelly Nutella, Alan Five Angels. Hell, he probably fight -1 sooner or later.
Caesar Bizzoni, throw him in there.
Yeah, Peter Avalon, Ryan Nemeth, JD Drake with a weird outfit that he's wearing now.
Max Caster, give him a shot. Why not?
Fuck. If I see Miro and Max Caster, I'll turn my TV off.
God. Pockets will probably get a shot at some point.
Oh yeah, he has to get revenge on Miro somehow. Even though, by the way, how's it coincident that Miro's the TNT champion, yet he lost to him and Chuck Taylor in a fucking arcade match? Don't tell me about your wins and losses matter. No, they don't. We have Kenny Olivier and Don Callis in the ring talking about how nobody can cut better promos than Kenny Olivier. Are you kidding me? And please, if I see one more person say that Kenny Omega reminds them of Nick Bockwinkel, my head is going to explode, okay? This is grade A homogenized Holstein bullshit.
Correct.
Right? Nick Bockwinkel is rolling in his grave if you can compare Kenny Omega to him. Okay, just stop with the shit.
And then Jungle Boy comes out, and I'm convinced the only reason that Jungle Boy said what he said was to get on Botchamania. I'm convinced that's the only ring because he said, "You talk too much," which is what Botchamania does when they get into the talking segment. That's the only reason Jungle Boy said that, is to get on Botchamania. Because, again, Tony Khan caters to what the internet wants, not how to run a freaking television show. It's ridiculous. And I like Jungle Boy. I think Jungle Boy has talent. I think that Jungle Boy has potential to be I really think you can build a company around Jungle Boy. I think he's great. But does anybody really think he's going to take the title off of Kenny Omega? Like, please. No, I can't buy Jungle Boy winning the world title off Kenny Omega. I can't believe it. And you're right, Josh. Omega is worthless. He is the absolute most uncredible, unbelieving, and really, quite frankly, undeserving major world champion in all of professional wrestling. I think, anyways. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
No.
And let's add on to this. So last Saturday, we had Impact Wrestling Against All Odds, and their big sell was, we're going to have our world title main event in Daly's place. But guess what happens? Not only they're in Daly's place with no crowd, they have Daly's place with the AEW Dark and Elevation jobber crowd at ringside with little to no lighting. We have Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, and Scott D'Amore on commentary. Just absolutely brutal. You have your stereotypical Kenny Olivier match. They're brawling in the ringside area. Gazillion V triggers. By the way, they advertise, the Good Brothers are not going to interfere in the match, so we'll have a cleaner, fair fight. Out comes Dick Buck number 1 and Dick Buck number 2 coming down to the ring and costing Moose the championship with their shitty ass BTE triggers. You know, they had to. Everybody knows with Moxley and the baby. Congrats to him and Renee, but they rid Jon Moxley off of TV by 4 childlike knee strikes by the Young Bucks. Like, I can't suspend my disbelief with this promotion. I just can't. Their match layouts make no sense. The referees suck. The angles suck. I'm tired of being hoodwinked, Brother Carter. I'm sorry to use the Stephen A. Smith expression here, but I'm tired of being hoodwinked and led astray. Like, What is elite about AEW? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. No, absolutely. There is nothing that you can look at this Okay. Okay, I want to get into this.
It's even too early for me to say that Britt Baker is elite. She's good. She's really good at what she's done.
She is, and actually, Josh, I alluded to this earlier. She is actually my favorite now in AEW over MJF because, like, she is taking the women's division and running with it, and she is the closest to being elite in AEW, I think, anyways. And I love me some Britt Baker DMD. Don't get me wrong. The problem with that is the women's division is so inconsistent from week to week. You don't know what story is being told in the women's division in AEW. That's the problem. Like, if they had consistent storytelling in the women's division, Britt Baker would be elite, I think, anyway. But no, that's the problem. Well, one of the many flaws with AEW is things. But okay, I don't know if you want to get into this now, Josh, but I want to get it back into this Kenny Omega thing. I don't know if you heard this, but on a recent podcast, Dave Meltzer said that Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns are essentially the same character. Did you see this? And he said, and I'll have to find the quote and look it up here, but they said they're essentially the same character because they are top heels being eventually booked to be top baby faces or vice versa. And I'm like, and credit to Jim Cornette, he says, isn't that every major heel or face ever? They eventually be booked so that they can do a turn because that's what professional wrestling is? And then, okay, Meltzer's credibility is already been zero. This officially did it for me. Meltzer's credibility as a journalist is officially over. And here's my thing, Josh. Here's the complete, and I was thinking about how I was going to present this. Here's how to completely kill this argument. Let's take somebody who has never seen a professional wrestling show before, okay? Just somebody who has never watched professional wrestling before. And we're going to say, okay, because the purpose of a wrestling company, I would think, is to eventually try to draw in new fans. Because AEW, eventually those fans are going to either stop watching or they're going to pass away or something. And AEW has no new fans. So that's what's going to kill their product. So let's take this somebody who's never watched wrestling before, right? We're going to show you an episode of SmackDown, and we're going to show you an episode of Dynamite. You tell me which character is more intimidating and more believable as a world champion. I'll even do you one better, because let's say it's an off night. We're going to show you 3 episodes of SmackDown and 3 episodes of Dynamite so you can get the full idea of their character, and maybe even a match. And you tell me who's a more believable champion, Roman Reigns or Kenny Omega. And then we'll show you 3 more episodes of Dynamite, and then we'll show you 3 episodes of Raw. And you tell me who's more believable, Kenny Omega or Bobby Lashley. We'll do the same with NXT, Kenny Omega and Karrion Kross, and we'll do the same with NXT UK, Kenny Omega and Walter. So you're going to get to see 12 episodes to really get invested in Kenny Omega and just a smattering of the other 3, and you tell me who's a more believable champion. How can anybody compare Roman Reigns to Kenny Omega? Like, every champion in WWE is way more credible and believable than Omega is. I'm not sure who the ROH world champion is right now, but I would imagine that they're more credible than Kenny Omega. So how anybody can compare these two. This just proves that Meltzer has no credibility and he's taken money from AEW or something like that. Or they've managed to convince Tony Khan that he is the mecca, the grand poobah of wrestling booking. It's ridiculous. It's awful. And Meltzer should, I don't even know what to say at this point.
Oh, man. Everybody believes that Harpo McFingerbuck is anywhere near Roman Reigns' level or relatability in the ring or character-wise. You're just out of your ever-loving mind. Don Callis wishes he could be Paul Heyman. That's first off. Secondly, Do you see Roman Reigns singing and singing his promos like Kenny Olivier does? No, right?
No. Okay, here's the quote here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Just a minute. Nope, sorry. Okay. Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega are essentially the same character in the sense that they are heels who are being groomed to be the top babyface star down the line of the promotion. AEW is at least trying to book in a way to make the matches exciting. And WWE is trying to book Roman Reigns and tell you, it doesn't matter, he's going to kill the guy. What's a better story? The Roman Reigns is a better story because it's like,
yeah, you have a guy who's a measuring stick, and then you have a guy that's doing the same fucking match with everybody. Like, you watch that match. Tell me that Olivier's match with Pac and Pockets was on the same level as the one that Roman Reigns had with Daniel Bryan and Edge at WrestleMania this year?
Right.
And Olivier had to win that match with a cheap roll-up and help from Don Callis. Don't tell me about your fucking booking philosophies. If anything, Meltzer is ratting himself out that he is part of the AEW team, because how does he know their philosophy behind why they're doing the things they do? Because he's on the team, just like Brianna Alvarez is on the team. You're not fooling me, guys. Just cut it with the shit already.
How anybody can take them seriously as credible wrestling journalists. Again, it's everybody who's bought the Kool-Aid and who is basically just trying to go against WWE because it's the cool thing to do. That's really what it is at this point. And to be fair, Josh, WWE has the pandemic has hurt them, storyline-wise and all that kind of good stuff. I get it. It's not the same level of storyline telling and all that stuff before the pandemic. I will admit that. And WWE's done their best and all that kind of good stuff. I think it's going to open up a lot more once the fans get back, and it's going to all go back to normal. It's going to be fine. I get that. But come on. Can you really, you're telling me that Olivier reading to children is more intimidating than Roman Reigns taking a lay from the Wild Samoans? Come on. So, anyways, I had to get that off my chest. Okay, a couple more things with AEW this week, Josh. Has Jade Cargill done anything relevant in the last month? And maybe she's done some stuff on Dark, but on Dynamite, what has she done relevant except do backstage promo and say she's the greatest and like a badass bitch or whatever? And I'm like, what have you done on television that's proven this? And I like Jade Cargill. I think she has a good look. I think she has potential. But has she done anything relevant on a show that anybody actually watches? So,
I don't know.
So
we had Nyla Rose beat Layla Hirsch. So I guess I have Britt Baker and Nyla Rose because that's gonna draw people in.
I don't know. Okay.
Oh, how about this? How about this cold main event? We have Team Taz, the group that loses all the time, having dissension against Hangman Page and 10 of Dark Order. By the way, do we need multiple Dark Order matches on every single show that AEW produces?
No. And if anything, who you need to be pushing out of the group is John Silver, because I think he's actually very entertaining. I like John Silver a lot. I think he has potential. I know a lot of people ragged on this match. I actually didn't mind this match. I thought this was an okay match. I think Brian Cage and Will Hobbs need to get the hell out of AEW, and because they have potential. I mean, and I know, Josh, you covered Brian Cage before he got to AEW, and you know how talented he is. He did a 619, which I thought was cool. He's got the look of a big man, but the agility of a smaller guy. So I actually really like Brian Cage. I think Powerhouse Hobbs has a great look too. If he could get some good training, he has potential to be great. So I actually didn't mind this match at all. But no, Brian Cage and Will Hobbs need to get as far away from AEW as possible, I think.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's odd they have this group of Team Taz, and Taz do commentary all the time, and they lose. Every time he's on commentary for a match with one of his guys from Team Taz, unless it's a squash match on Dark or Elevation, they lose.
Right.
And they're heels too, so it's like it's fun. It goes back to the double standards that we always talk about with AEW and their fans. It's like, okay, heels could lose because there's a long-term story in AEW that's going to play out, But when heels lose in WWE, oh my God, they're buried. They're buried. They're buried. It's so stupid. So I think that's, I guess we could put a ribbon on the bow for this segment, right?
Absolutely. Ah, man, it's been fun reliving life down memory lane, Josh. But, oh, sorry. One other thing I'll say, Josh, is remember how Lance Archer was supposed to be this absolute complete badass that destroys everybody and is going to have great storylines and all this kind of good stuff? He comes out and does a 1-minute squash and then leaves. Why do I? What about Lance Archer makes me want to see him more? At least that's just me, anyways. What did you have any thoughts or any care on that? But I don't care anymore about the Murder Hawk monster at all. He is not a threat to me at all. What do you think?
No, it's like, yeah, let's bring Braun Strowman in, and he gets punked out by Orange Cassidy. You know, like Lance Archer, another one that needs to go away.
Yes.
You know, God rest his soul. Brody Lee was down the same path too.
Yep. And that, Josh, is what the hell is wrong with AEW. This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Good times, Josh. 1 year we've been doing this segment, and many more to go. It's going to be great.
Yes. We got one last piece of business to get to before we head out for this week's podcast. Brett Carter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, my friend. This is, with a pay-per-view coming up this weekend, it is time for us to make our Hell in the Cell predictions. No! This should be a good show. I believe this is the last pay-per-view in the Thunderdome.
Yes.
And then they move on to other things.
Might have been in Fort Worth, Texas.
I know it. Hell in the Cell, the most demonic plastic structure of all time.
Yeah. Super red, too.
So, okay. We're going to get into some the matches that we know of for right now. I am currently reading these off of CBS Sports. I don't know if any more matches have been announced, but this is the matches that have been announced as of right now. And Josh, if I forget any matches, please let me know. So, I believe we've got, which has been confirmed. I don't know if this match has been confirmed yet, Josh, but Seth Rollins versus Cesaro at Hell in the Cell. Is this going to happen? Has this match been confirmed?
Which one?
Seth Rollins versus Cesaro.
I'm pretty sure it'll be confirmed by tomorrow. Probably.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it happens, and I'm gonna take. In the match, I would take Seth Rollins to get the win, and they're gonna continue this feud through Money in the Bank. So I've got Seth Rollins defeating Cesaro if that match does happen. Who do you have?
I'll go with Cesaro. Actually, I think Seth Rollins will probably attack him on SmackDown tomorrow, and then Cesaro. And with it being a grudge feud, Rollins can go to another level for his next feud, but he can still take a loss here, and it wouldn't affect him. So I'll go with Cesaro. Plus, you probably want somebody to gain some momentum from the SmackDown side going into Money in the Bank. So I'd say that'd be the choice there. Yep. Good point. All right, next match. We've got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, defending against Bayley. I'm going to say Bianca retains here. I don't think it's time for them to take the title off of her just yet. I think they want to keep her with the championship going into back when live fans are going to be there. So I have Bianca Belair retaining against Bayley. Who do you have? I got Bianca to retain here, not Bianca, Michael Cole. Yeah, I'm going to go with Bianca to retain here. I'm curious to see what they do with Bayley because sooner or later, the Shawn Michaels of women's wrestling will be back. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I'll go with Bianca to retain here. I've heard that the Shawn Michaels, our good friend, the boss, Mitchell. Shout out to Mitchell McMule, his favorite superstar. I've heard that she'll be back for the first SmackDown live show on July 16th is what I'm hearing, or whatever date that show is. So we'll have to see. Next, we have the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley defending against the Queen. Woo! Who do you have in this one, Josh? I have Rhea Ripley retaining here, though I would not be surprised if Charlotte wins either. It's curious. I'm curious to see which direction they would want to go with fans coming back for the Raw side, who they would want to be the champion. So this is a toss-up 50-50. I really enjoyed the brawl. I guess for me, I'm surprised that this match was not in Hell in a Cell. I guess that's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, I've got Rhea Ripley retaining here too. This is interesting though because you have heel versus heel essentially for a women's championship, but of course in wrestling, you know, I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I think this is true. Are there even heels versus baby faces anymore? Because fans don't boo the characters anymore; they boo the booking. Like, think about it. Fans care more about the booking than they do about the characters themselves, which is ridiculous. But no, I've got Rhea Ripley retaining as well. I think she's doing great work. I love her theme song, by the way. I think the Brutality theme song is really cool. So that's great.
Yeah.
Next, Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. I think my guess is that this match will close the show because, again, Roman Reigns is the best in the world right now, and I don't see how this match doesn't close the show. But it's not the most intriguing match, so I'm going to call it next. Obviously, Reigns gets the win here. It's going to be a long time before somebody takes the title off of him. So I've got Reigns, but I think this is actually going to be good because we know how good Mysterio is. I think that somehow Dominic will try to sneak into the cell, you know, all this kind of good stuff. But so I've got Reigns retaining, but I think this is going to be a good match.
You still got the Usos in their involvement in the storyline as well, so see where that goes. I definitely think we'll probably see Roman Reigns against Jimmy at Money in the Bank. So, yeah, of course, Roman Reigns will retain here. Should be interesting how they play it out, though. I am curious from that. If they could pull off a hot-shotted title match, it would be these two guys. So, I think it'd be pretty good. And then, I'm just curious to see where they go with the Usos stuff next. Is it Roman against Jimmy? Is it Roman against both Usos? Like, we'll see what happens.
Right. Side note, Josh, and I've said this for a long time. I think Hell in the Cell should not be a pay-per-view. I think they should just it ruins the the specialty when of a culminating point of a feud. So I've said this for a long time. I think that they need to get rid of Hell in the Cell as a pay-per-view and just do bring back another event and just save that for thing. But I'll always believe that they need to get rid of Hell in the Cell as a pay-per-view. But do you have any thoughts on that? Or does it matter to you either way?
I agree. Certain pay-per-views don't need to be there, but if I guess for them, they market off of it with the toys and stuff that they sell. So there's more factors that go into it,
sure.
Storyline stuff. So, what other matches do we have left?
And then the final match that I've got right now. Is there any other matches that I'm missing? I'm trying to think what other matches could be set up before this weekend. Maybe RK Bro against AJ Styles and Omos, but they'll probably save that for a Raw or something like that.
No, I was thinking more like Viking Raiders than AJ and Omos, since the Raiders won that.
Oh, sure, yeah. On the kickoff show or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe like Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose against Natalya Tamina, since they had their brawl on Raw this Monday.
Sure. And maybe we'll see those on the kickoff shows, but yeah. In both of those instances, I would have the champs retaining, I think.
Yes.
So, okay, very good. And now, Josh, we get to the championship match that I think is most intriguing, honestly. Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre inside Hell in the Cell. And if Drew McIntyre loses, he does not get another shot at the WWE Championship as long as Lashley retains, as long as Lashley is the champion. I'm going to take Lashley here with the interference of the modern-day Maharaja making his return and costing McIntyre an opportunity at the world title. This should be great. These two are fantastic. And I would like to see another person get a shot at Bobby Lashley, maybe at Money in the Bank, maybe like a Kofi Kingston or, I don't think The Fiend's going to be back anytime soon. But, so I think Lashley wins here with some interference from the outside from our good friend, the Maha or Jinder, Maha. Yeah, that's who I got.
Shanky, Veer.
Yes.
So. Oh no, you stole my pick too, man. I definitely had that going out. And By the way, what other heel would thrive on that, saying that he's the reason why Drew McIntyre can no longer get another top shot than the guy, his friend, the guy he feels like he's been held back by.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love that idea, Brett Carter. I really do.
So, and that's what we've got. And those are our predictions. No. Oh, I love it. Dude, it's been fun today going down memory lane and being back here live on the pod. So thanks for, as always, Brother Adam. This has been a great show today. A lot of fun.
It's always a blast saying out to you, Brett Carter. I want to thank everybody who's been enjoying the shows over the last couple of weeks. I will be back in Chicago, back in the Good Brothers studio next Thursday, so it'll be a lot of fun for that. We'll get ready on the road to Money in the Bank and fans coming back. So it'll be pretty cool. Really quick, make sure to follow Brother Carter at Twitter at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to hit him up at derekstoughton.com so you see what he's doing with his music stuff. And check out his work at WrestlingRumors.net. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Hit me up on Twitter at Joshie Lopez94 on Instagram. And then bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. I have transcripts for Hell in the Cell coming up on Sunday, and then I know New Japan's got like a crap load of shows coming up in July as well. So the world of professional wrestling never stops, and I'll have all those articles for you at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Really quick, when it comes to this podcast, make sure to subscribe right now so you never miss an episode. Like this video here on YouTube. Tell a friend about it. Share the word to the podcast. To friend and foe. It really helps expand the reach of the show, and we really appreciate the support each week. And remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself, and remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself. We love you guys. Hope you enjoy Hell in the Cell. Have a wonderful Father's Day weekend. Father's Day weekend for those fathers who do listen to the podcast, and we'll be back here next week to recap Hell in the Cell. No. So for the one and only director of operations on the Nefarious Brother Adam, this has been episode 262 of the Hoots podcast from Oviedo, Florida. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.